We're going to go through the IRS Interactive Tax Assistant tool titled, "What is the due date of my federal tax return, or am I eligible to request an extension?" So that's a mouthful, but what this tool does is it helps people who might be in unique tax situations. It helps them figure out whether or not they should apply for an extension, what the due date of their tax return is. However, it is limited in scope, so it doesn't address any filing deadlines for taxpayers located in a combat zone, such as active duty service members, or federally declared disaster, or a significant fire area. So there are links to either the Armed Forces Tax Guide, IRS Publication 3, or a page titled Tax Relief in Disaster Situations. This tool also does not address non-residents or dual status aliens. Realistically, this is just a form or a questionnaire that will kind of help taxpayers understand whether or not it's too late for their tax return or to file an extension. So let's go ahead and hit the begin button and see where we go. So the first question, what is the due date of my federal tax return, or am I able to request an extension? So these are for 2020 through 2022 tax returns. At the time of this recording, we've just passed the October filing season for 2022, but we're not quite into filing season for 2023. So let's just see what we're talking about. We'll go ahead and select 2022, and then we'll start asking questions. So the accounting period. So for most taxpayers, if this question confuses you, unless you specifically know otherwise, your accounting period is going to be based on a calendar year. So here we have calendar year and fiscal year accounting period. So if you needed more information, here we go. Accounting periods can cover either 52 or 53 weeks for a fiscal year. With that said, most taxpayers are going to answer that they are calendar year taxpayers. So, do you want to know if you're eligible to request an extension, or are you just asking about the due date of your tax return? So, let's see. Well, your original due date, or did you file IRS Form 4868 and you're inquiring about the extended due date? Let's take a look at that one. All right. Will you or your spouse be living outside the United States and Puerto Rico on this was the tax reporting deadline, so 4/18/2023. Let's just say yes, and let's just say that our primary base of place of business is outside the United States. And let's say that we're expecting a tax refund. So it looks like your tax return would have been timely if you had filed basically the 2-month automatic extension that is granted to overseas taxpayers, which would have ended on June 15th, 2023. For most taxpayers, April 15th is that deadline. If you filed a tax return extension, which is IRS Form 4868, then you get up to 6 months to file your tax return. Now, I will point out a difference in this because this is saying that you should file your tax return in a timely manner, right? So it doesn't say anything about tax penalties, right? That's one of the most common questions is, what if I miss my tax filing deadline? So let's go back and let's say no to the question of expecting a refund. So now there's an additional statement that wasn't here before that says you should pay any amount due by the regular due date to avoid interest and penalty for paying late. So I'm going to take a brief moment out here to discuss a little bit about how the tax filing penalties work. So there are two types of late penalties that people generally worry about when it comes to filing your income taxes. There is a late filing penalty. So if you did not file any tax return at all by the deadline and you didn't get your extension request in. So let's say that you're not an overseas taxpayer, your normal deadline is April 15th. Then if you don't file your tax return by April 15th, then you may incur a failure to file penalty of 5% of your outstanding balance. So that's 5% per month of any outstanding tax balance with a cap of up to 25%. So if you don't file your tax return, that's 5% per month or part of a month. So if you filed on April 20th, you'd still get 5% penalty. Now, if it goes over a month, and let's say it's the end of May, well, now you've got the entire next month, then you've got an additional month, that would be a 10% penalty. But the catch is this, outstanding balance. So if you're owed a tax refund, you don't have an outstanding balance. You don't have a penalty. So the other penalty that a lot of people worry about is the failure to pay tax penalty, which is 0.5% of your outstanding balance. So if your failure to pay penalty was 5% per month, your failure to file was 5%, failure to pay was 0.5% of your outstanding balance. And that accumulates every month up until you reach 25%. Now, if both penalties apply, then the failure to pay penalty kind of offsets that 0.5% of the failure to file, and you would actually have 4.5% failure to file, 0.5% failure to pay. So, and each of those kind of go up in parallel until they each reach 25%. But again, that is only if you have an outstanding tax bill. If you're expecting a return, the IRS isn't going to come after you to file your tax return. They might eventually, audit your record. You may get a notification from the IRS. You may not, but it's your money. So everything in this statement is kind of soft language saying you should file your tax return. A return filed on the next business day is considered timely. So if we went back to, let's just say we're not living outside the United States. Now, it says your tax return is considered to be timely by 4/18/2023. So if the due date of your tax return files on a Saturday, Sunday, or a legal holiday, then a tax return filed the next business day. And this happened to be a tax return filing date where not only was it over a weekend, but then the following business day was a Washington, D.C. local holiday, which impacts the IRS. So technically the next business day after that holiday was April 18th. However, any extensions don't include that extra couple of days. Like your extension basically goes until the 15th of October in this case, or the 15th of June if you're qualifying for that automatic 2-month extension. So as always, you can print this review screen down here, and you probably should, so that you know exactly what you're talking about. If you need to go back and change the tax year, for example, oh, I meant to write in 2021, or I meant to do something different. You know exactly what you can change or what you need to change. So this is a fairly straightforward tax tool, and it does help people kind of better understand what their options might be. So I will put in links to a couple of topics that I think were pretty appropriate in the show notes. So IRS Form 4868, if you ever need to file a tax extension, it would be nice to know what that form looks like and how to complete it. So we'll put notes to that in the show notes. And uh, if you like our videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if there's uh, any questions that you have on a tax form or tax topic, odds are pretty high that we've written an article about it. Simply go to teachmepersonalfinance.com, type in the name of the IRS form that you're searching for, and you should see step-by-step guidance and a comprehensive article on that tax form. And if not, please hit me up in the comment section or in the show notes, and I will do my best to get around to that tax form. I do keep a long list of forms that I'm writing articles about, and I do my best to try to write the best articles I can on each of them. So otherwise, please let me know how I'm doing. If you have any questions, if there's a topic that you want me to cover in a future video, please hit me up. Thank you very much and have a great day.